morning, YouTube. Welcome to the Reptile Barn. We got a request to show you how we do our racks, our snake racks that is. We build them ourselves, and we just had been receiving a couple of questions, and this is the second time we've received questions about this, so we figured we'd make a quick video about it. So right here is our Exhibit A, because these racks are not currently in use. Now, I don't want to give specific dimensions necessarily, because you could build this exact design with slightly different dimensions to fit whatever kind of tub you're using. We are using 41 quart Sterilite tubs. That is pretty standard. People who get professional racks are using, Freedom Breeder tubs or whatever it is, but people who build their own racks for adult ball pythons often use 41 quart Sterilite tubs. So that's what we've got here. We have a base that is hollow. This is about 4 inches of height here that's underneath the very bottom slot for a snake tub. And the reason for that is because even though we're in a heated room that's about 80 degrees, the floor will still suck some heat out of your bottom of your rack. So that's hollow, and we fill that with insulation. The rest of the slots are all equal. So we have 3 uprights on each side. These are 1x4s, although we have a rack over here that we use a 2x4. Doesn't really matter, although we found that the 2x4 is slightly more stable. These are pretty stable. I mean, I can really yank on this and it only moves a little bit, but the 2x4 one is even more stable. It's heavier, it's thicker wood, obviously it's a little more stable. So what we do is, oh, by the way, the reason we have 3 uprights per side instead of just 2 is because we have melamine shelves that are very heavy, and over time, if you do not have an upright anchored to the middle of each shelf, the middle of the shelf will sag. It will definitely start to bow down, and obviously we don't want that. Now, the reason we decommissioned these 2 racks and moved all our snakes over to those ones is because the tubs, in sliding in and out, rub over the heat tape in the back. If you want to go back there and show it up close so you can see what I mean with this just kind of wear and tear on the heat tape. Now you don't want that because the heat tape can short out or start a fire, and if it gets destroyed this way. So that plastic coating on the top of it has to remain intact. And over time the tubs that we are using were sliding over it and causing damage. So what we have been doing, as you can see with all these lovely clips, is cutting out to size pieces of hardboard that are the same width but that stop about a foot before we reach the back of the rack. Now this is about, these are 1/16 hardboard, right? Yeah. They're 1/16. Yeah. So it's not very thick. The idea is that when we slide in a tub, and I can't actually slide this one in because there's clips holding it on, we just attach them with wood glue. That's why there's clips until the glue dries. But when we slide this bin in, it will sit on top of this panel, this insert, and hover about 1/16 of an inch over the heat tape. Still close enough that you don't really get a lot of heat loss, so your efficiency stays pretty high, but it's not rubbing on the heat tape. And there's also not that kind of, there can be a pretty high buildup of heat if it's actually touching the heat tape, and you don't want that. So we have used that design on these racks, and we are loving it. It is fantastic. The bin still slides perfectly, but in the back it hovers, and you might be able to see the little gap, Liz, if you crouch down at the perfect height. Yep.
Ta-da! There's the gap.
There's the gap. That's what we want. So, the heat tape. Let's talk about the heat tape for just a second. We get our heat tape from the Serpentarium. We love that company because they ship to Alaska. They're also just an awesome company. But we have had trouble, as you can imagine, sourcing different materials that will ship to Alaska. Those guys rock, the Serpentarium. And we obviously are not, officially endorsed by them or anything. I'm just telling you, we like them. So we use 12-inch heat tape on the adult racks, 3-inch heat tape on the baby racks, and we just cut off about a foot length, and tape it down to each level. We wire it. I'm not going to walk you through how to wire heat tape right now. There's lots of great examples on here on YouTube, or the different companies that sell heat tape also have pretty good tutorials. Some of them will even mail it to you already wired together. But it's not a really complicated process. I am not gifted with construction or building things, and I can do it.
No,
But,
that would be my part of this relationship.
yeah, well, I still do some of the heat tape.
I know.
But no, she is the one who designed these racks. She did a great job. We love them. I could not have designed them. That is not my area of expertise. So, the thing I wanted to tell you about the heat tape. We do not just cap the ends of each line of heat tape. We actually put a male plug end on the bottom or the top, I guess it doesn't really matter, and a female end on the other, either top or bottom, so that each individual rack can be unplugged from your line of racks that are, ending in a thermostat, or plugged back in. And the reason this is cool is because check out our baby racks here. Look up here. This rack is almost empty. We've sold just enough snakes that we're almost down to snakes only on this rack. As soon as these are gone, or some of these are gone and we can move these over, down here, if you zoom in down there, you might be able to see there's a plug. We can just unplug those, and this rack will be off the heat system, and we will be able to save a little bit of energy, which is great. So every single rack we have now, we are doing that with. We are having a male end on one end and a female plug on the other end, so that everything can be utilized only if needed. Anything else you think we should point out here with our racks?
No, I think that's pretty much it. So basically we use, melamine particle board for the shelves, 1x4s or 2x4s for the supportive uprights, and then tempered hardboard as the inserts to protect our heat tape. And it's a pretty simple design, and it keeps our animals housed safely.
Bye YouTube, thanks for watching the fun.
Yeah, good job, buddy. You can find us on Facebook. Just search The Reptile Barn. Our website is thereptilebarn.com. We're here on YouTube. You can comment down below. We always answer. We're on Instagram, Pinterest, Morph Market. And you can follow us anywhere on those different platforms. And we hope to see you there. And until next time, we are The Reptile Barn.